Welcome everybody to the live stream on dealing with RSI when you are alone or there's no one else to help you. I'm very happy to be invited by the Mount Sinai Work Injury Support Group to offer this live stream, and it's going to be online for anybody who wants to join. You can just put your name in the chat, ask your questions, or put your comments in the chat. We're really happy that you're here. And I'd like to thank Jonathan Dropkin and Laura Miner of the group, which is the longest, oldest RSI support group that I know of. So there will be information on how to join this group coming up. So if you want to join the group, they would be happy to have you, and it'd be wonderful for you to have someone to share your experiences with. A viewer actually asked me this question. She says, what do you do if you live alone and you have RSI? And a lot of the videos on my channel come from viewers like you who have a question. And I thought this one was particularly good because at some point or another, everybody's going to be having to perform a task that could give them a flare or injure them more. And so it's good to have these tricks and tips to help you when you're alone. This is a chance for people who've had RSI for a long time to share their tricks with people who may not have had it for as long. And sometimes people who haven't, really had it for very long come up with really great solutions. And you'll be seeing one of those coming up later in the live stream. I'd also like to thank Alexandria Carstens. She's just been such a great friend to me and the channel and you for all these years. She's our moderator today. She'll be helping with the chat and helping you understand, how it goes. So we'll get started. I divided this topic into 3 parts. We'll start with helpful devices, and then we're going to go to helpful techniques, and then we'll go to helpful people. And please remember that not every trick is going to be good for you. It depends on your injury. And I've got the Snowflake theory of RSI, which is that snowflakes in general all look alike, but when you take a magnifying glass, they're all unique. And that's the same thing with us. We all have different symptoms, different things that trigger us, things that we can do, things that we can't do. And so you need to take a grain of salt with each of these tips that I'm offering you and see what works for you. So I'd love to know where you're from. So if you could just put your state and city or country, even maybe you're from Australia or someplace, put it in the chat. Oh, I'm seeing Mike Searson, Mark Miller, hi. Jane, hello, how are you? She's from NYC. We'll see who else is here. Anyway, let's get started. And I'd also like to mention that there's a playlist on my channel that lists, I'm going to show you a few of my favorite things. Oh, there's moving pictures. Yes, and Mike Searson is from Omaha. Hello, Mike. I'm glad you could make it. Erica from Columbia. Oh, we have wonderful Erica here from Columbia and South Florida. Okay, so there's a playlist on my channel that lists helpful gadgets and techniques, and it's entitled Save Your Hands with These Useful Devices and Techniques. And I'd also like to tell you that if English is not your native language, or if you have a friend with RSI and English is not their native language, you can now hear these videos and they're going to be dubbed in your language. So you can hear me in French, in Spanish, in Hindi, in Japanese. So, just there's a thing, go to the settings and you'll figure it out. Okay, so where are we here? We're at favorite things. So it's always like, where do I begin with my favorite things? I'd say scissors. I believe in scissors. These are spring-loaded scissors. They're from Fiskars. And the nice thing about them is you you just pull where you have the strength, but they open by themselves. And that saves a lot of hand energy. And I really like this particular little scissor because you can snip little things and you just need them. I have a pair of scissors in every single room of my house. I have them in the bathroom. I have them in the office. I have them in the living room. I have them in the kitchen. I use them for things like if you have grapes and you're trying to get, some of your grapes, you don't want the whole clump on the plate. You just get in there and snip. So it's really helpful to have scissors. The other thing that I really love are these snub-nosed, no, they're not snub-nosed, they're flat-nosed pliers, because this gives you a grip on things. Like, let's say you've got one of those tabs, like they come on vitamin bottles or something, and you lift the little thing. It's really hard to peel them off. But if you just use your pliers, it's so much easier on your hands. So get one of these. They're really helpful. You can get them at the hardware store. I think I did a video on this, and there's a link also of where I got these. And they just come in really handy. Any pliers, but I like these because the other ones slip around a little bit, but you need those too. So we use tools instead of straining our hands. This is a letter opener, and you just take the envelope and you just get under the envelope and slip. It's got a razor in there, and that will open your letter for you rather than struggling. And I don't like those letter knives that people have. They're hard on your hands. This is easier for most people. Then, speaking of opening things, this little gadget is a retractable razor. And I don't know if you can see, but if you push this little button, there's a razor. And they make these seals on everything, on vitamins, little boxes, they're the tamper-proof seals, the little clear ones that you see all the time. And so I have one of these in every room of my house too, because they use them so much. So I use them. It's a razor. So you just go in there and slice, and then you can open the package without straining your hands. It's just really a great little tool. These would be good stuffing stalkers for people with RSI. They come 4 to a package in white and blue, and I'm trying to think the other one. It's like yellow and red, I think. I think those are the colors. Then I have, this is one of my favorite things, this timer. You can get different times, 10, 20, 30. You have to look online and see which one you want. But the reason I like this timer is you do not have to press buttons. And anybody with RSI knows it's really painful to be pressing buttons. So with this, you just turn it over, and then there's a little light that lights up, and then it'll beep. And I like this one because eventually the beeping goes off. I have another one, but the beeping doesn't go off. So, it's like, why is this beeping? So I have to get up and turn it off. But this one, I really like. So you just, when it's through beeping, you just turn it over. I hope it doesn't go off. And then this other thing, which I just cannot live without, is my phone holder. You need a MagSafe case on your iPhone, which is what I use. And this will save your neck, save your hands. It is just absolutely a must-have. So what happens is a lot of people, when they get this, they don't raise it all the way up. You have to make sure you raise it up so that you don't have to look down at your phone. And you just take your phone and it sticks. So you don't have to use your hands at all. You can dictate through the voice control on your iPhone, and it will bring up the numbers, and you can navigate with numbers. You can dictate memos. You can dictate emails. You can do a lot of stuff without ever touching your phone, because just holding your phone can be very stressful on your thumb. It leads to all kinds of repetitive strain injury because of the neck issue. People get seriously injured from their phones. So if you want a nice phone holder, this is the one I love and use. You can use it portrait. You can turn it this way to landscape. So I just really love this. I think it's called the Cooper phone stand or something. I'll try to leave a link in the details below. It's $15. I mean, truly a great buy, and I really recommend these things. So those are a few of my favorite things. And then I want to show you what one of my wonderful clients had. I'm looking at you, Erica. Let's see if I can find this. It's a video, so I'm unfortunately couldn't figure out how to clip it. So you're going to have to listen to the whole thing, but it's only 30 seconds. So let me see if I can find it. Here we go. She found these things on her own. And I think this is an example of how people are so creative about finding things to reduce hand strain. You know, this woman really looked. So here we go.
When you have RSI, handling or manipulating objects that you use every day can be stressful to your hands. This woman found useful devices to spare her hands. A toilet lid that opens as you walk toward it and closes by itself. A wastebasket lid that opens with a wave of the hand, and a soap dispenser that doesn't require you to push down on a button. Repetitive strain injury, what you need to know.
So I just love this. I really just loved her creativity and the fact that she found these things, and now we can share them with all of you. You know, it's really heartening to hear these things. Okay, so here we have the next topic, which is helpful techniques. Now, techniques are how you use your hands. So here you need to be creative. For instance, when you're opening doors, I have a whole video on how I use other parts of my body to open doors. Like, for instance, you want to hold the door open for somebody because they're coming in after you. Use your foot or your hip to hold it open. Don't use your hands. So if you've figured out ways to navigate without using your hands, let me know. Drop them in the comments and let other people know how you use your body in order to save your hands. There's all kinds of creative ways that you can use your hands. You can also use your hands more intelligently. And this is what I do when I'm doing technique retraining with people at their computer. I show them what they're doing with their hands that's giving them the epicondylitis or the forearm strain or the shoulder issue. And then I show them more neutral ways to hold their hands. And this can be game changing because you're basically stopping the offending activity. So this is a really important thing. Think about it. You know, look before you leap. When you're at home looking at a task, think about it. For instance, I'll use myself as an example. I have a nice statue that I put on my windowsill, and I was having the windowsills painted. So I asked someone else to take the statue and put it on my dining room table, but now I can't. The windowsills are fine, they're painted, but I can't lift it back up by myself. So I have to wait until someone I know is coming who has the physical strength to lift this heavy statue up onto it. So I'm looking before I'm leaping. I want things back in place, but I don't want it bad enough to give myself a flare. This is where you have to be a little bit patient. There's something on my channel. There's a video that I did on the hand bank, and that was my own idea. And hand bank, you think of your hands as having a certain amount of energy, and then you look at your day. And so maybe you wake up feeling pretty good. So you feel like, okay, I've got $100 in my hand bank, $100 worth of energy in my hand bank. It's going to take me 50 of those to vacuum. Do I want to do that, or do I want to make dinner for some friends? So you have to sort of think about what you're going to do that day and how you're going to use that energy. Because it's kind of like having money in the bank. You have to watch your balance, because it's not worth it to flare by straining. It's just not worth it. You go back. You can set yourself back in recovery. There's another concept that I got from a disability website, and I thought it was one of the best explanations if you're trying to explain to other people what it's like to have RSI, which can be very difficult because they don't get it. I mean, you don't look injured. Your hands aren't bleeding. You've got hands. What could be the problem? Why can't you lift that coffee mug or whatever it is you need to do? So what they had was the theory of spoons. So this woman grabbed, they were at a restaurant, and she grabbed her mug, and there were a bunch of spoons coming out. And so she said, you know, if I do this, if I put on my coat, it's going to take 1 spoon. If I have to put on my shoes, that's going to take 2 spoons. So she kept subtracting the amount of spoons, and the spoons represented the amount of energy that she had for doing something. I think she had chronic fatigue syndrome. And so that was her way of explaining to somebody else, I could do this much, but then if I do more than that, I'm going to go backwards. So it's something to think about when you're dealing with your day. You know, what is your, you know, everybody wants to think. My to-do list is like this every day. If I get 3 things accomplished, sometimes that's a really good thing. But sometimes your body just won't let you, and it's not worth it to keep overdoing. So anyway, think about whatever, you know, works for you. I think the hand bank is a really good thing for people with RSI. And if you're trying to explain RSI and what it's like to have RSI with other people, you might want to consider using the spoons. Okay, so one of the ways that I measure is I, for instance, go to the grocery store frequently because I can still carry groceries. And, you know, I just can't carry heavy groceries. So if I have really heavy groceries, I have them delivered, you know, things like heavy items like heavy liquids, you know, if you're laundry detergent or something like that, I will have those kinds of things delivered. But if I'm doing things that are relatively light, I like to choose my own produce. So I'd rather do it myself. So I just make sure that I can carry the amount of groceries that I'm choosing, and I go more frequently to the grocery store rather than doing it in a chunk. Now, I don't have a car. I live in New York. I live in New York City, and you know, a lot of people in New York City don't want to bother with having a car. So it gets me out of the house. You know, I'm doing a little bit of walking. You know, that's good for me. And then I'm carrying my groceries, which isn't terrible if it's not too heavy. So that's one of my strategies. So let me know your strategy. And then we've covered opening doors, and I'm going to open this up once I get through with my part, and I want to hear from you. So then we get to helpful people. And one of the things that I've been curious about, and I actually asked Jonathan, and he's going to be checking into this, but I went online and I said, you know, are you qualified for home health aid if you've got this disability? And it looks to me like you could be covered under Medicare or Medicaid, but you're going to have to check with your own state and local authorities to find out what's really going to work for you. You also have to have, I think, a doctor's note. So you'll have to be working with your doctor about whether or not you can get a home health aid. Because what you could do then is save the, you know, if you got a jar that's hard to open, let the person with healthy hands do it rather than you struggling. Although on my channel, one of the most popular videos that we did was Alexandria showing us her 3-tap just opening jars, which is You know, it's always one of the top ones. It's a really great way to open jars if you've got problems twisting things, which most of us do. So that's right up there on the top. If you go to popular videos, you're going to see Alexandria's face. She's holding up a jar of asparagus. And her, her, her little tool that she used. So thank you, Alexandria, for that. This is what I mean by sharing the wealth here, what we do to help ourselves. So if you don't have the home health aid is great. It's also helpful if you can ask people who don't mind helping you. And you have to be careful though, because asking random people for help can backfire in the sense of you will get oceans of useless and dangerous advice from people. They'll say, oh, what, you're weak? Why don't you do wrist curls or strengthen? You know, you can't do that. And you'll get into an argument with people saying, no, I really can't do that. No, I can't strengthen. The tissues are too damaged. It will make everything worse. I mean, I don't want to get into that conversation with anybody, because these people don't understand repetitive strain injury. And it can make you feel bad. It can make them feel helpless. So what I'm saying is be careful who you ask about helping you, because I don't think anybody wants useless advice from people who don't know anything about RSI. Okay. So if you want to investigate home health aid assistance, I would Google. This is what I did. I searched home health care for people with disabilities. And then you know, depending on where you live, you might find something. Okay. This is not one of the 3 H's: helpful devices, helpful techniques, helpful people, but it will help you. So I'm going to show you my orchid, which just bloomed after 7 years, I think. I grew this from a little slip. I hope you can see the blossoms, Alexandria. You can see the blossoms.
Beautiful. Gorgeous.
Okay. So this is a cattleya. And I have watered this plant for years before it ever bloomed. And I repotted it. And then I thought, oh God, I'm starting all over again. Orchids like tight pots. They don't like to be transplanted. They're very finicky. So anyway, I've been waiting and waiting and waiting and watering and watering and watering. And I went to pick up my orchid last week. And all of a sudden, this big bloom burst out at me. I'm thinking, well, where were you? It just surprised me. So my orchids are my way of patience training my patience muscles by, you know, just keep in there, hang in there, keep watering the plants, and eventually they will bloom. You hope. You just keep watering them. So anyway, that's about all I'm going to say about patience. But my orchids are a good teacher. Okay. So check out I've got a million videos on my channel that you can check out under that, the playlist that I mentioned before. If you have any other suggestions, you can put them in the chat. And if you have any questions, you can put them in the chat. And you can also tell us what's the hardest thing for you. What activities bother you the most? That will be helpful too, because I may make a future video about it. And I know, speaking of future videos, I'm thinking of doing a live stream, because I've got a couple of clients. I'm thinking of 2 people in particular who have made brilliant transitions with their careers. They've been, you know, pretty seriously injured, but they have taken their skills and transformed them so that they can keep working. And I think that is a really good message to try to get over to people with repetitive strain injury, to find ways where you can keep working, because it's important for your sense of purpose. It's important for your finances. it's just, I think in general, a really good thing for people to keep working. So if you want to know about that, sign up on my channel and you'll be notified when that happens. And here's a word about helping people who aren't injured yet. They have a saying in the disability community that, the people who are able-bodied just aren't injured yet. They're just not disabled yet, because it can happen to anybody. And my goal in life is to at least raise awareness and, do some things legislatively so that people are aware of this. It's like smoking was in the 50s, oh, everybody does it, you can't stop them. There was a massive campaign to stop people from smoking, and then secondhand smoke. I mean, this went on and on. The same thing needs to happen in the RSI community. So I have written a petition. It's on, Alexandria will probably put a banner out so that you can see it, but it's on change.org. And you can go there, and I'd love it if you'd sign it, if you'd send it to your legislators, if you share it with everybody get them to sign it, because at the very least, we need a massive public education campaign, because prevention is the only cure for RSI, and you can't cure a disease you've never heard of. You don't know how to prevent. You don't know how it happens. So this is one thing we really need to do. And then I'd love it if you would help me in this regard, spreading the word. And there's a number of ways you can do that. You can share my petition. You can view, like, comment, and share videos that you find useful, including this one, with people that you know. That really helps the channel grow. It helps it gain traction. It also helps spread the word about RSI to people who may not understand it yet. And it's also a way for you, if people don't take it seriously, you can say, hey, look at this video, listen to this expert. And that can sort of give you more credibility when you're talking about things that are hard for you. You can join the channel as a member, and here's how you do that. Let me see if I can get this on. There's, at the bottom in the circle there, you can see the part that says join. And once you click that, you're going to get this other thing that comes up, and it's going to give you a way to join the channel. And I'd really love if you would join the channel, just to have company, and you will get early access to certain videos before they reach the general public. And you'll also have priority responses to comments. But most of all, you'll have that warm feeling in your heart for doing a good thing to help spread the word about repetitive strain injury. And then finally, if you'd like to join the Mount Sinai Work Injury Group, contact Jonathan Dropkin. And we've got his email. If it's not there, let me see if I can find it.
Oh, it's there.
It is. Okay. Thank you. She's right on top of stuff. So I will also leave it in the links below. And Jonathan can help usher you into the Mount Sinai support group if you want to join that. And big thanks to Alexandria for moderating. And if you need dragon training, go see her. She's fabulous. Speakeasy Solutions in Canada. I'll leave a link. You really need to dictate. That's one of the big things you can do to help yourself continue to work, continue to thrive with RSI. So, do we have any questions, or does Alexandria have anything she'd like to share?
Well, there were a couple of neat comments. This one here.
Can you put it online so I can see?
Yeah. Do you see it?
Let me go. Oh, you have to watch how much you use your hands. Yes, this is true.
And track it. And that, and this one as well from Moving Pictures, a hand budget, but even per hours, right? Rather than even just a day. And I know myself, I run out of my own budget sometimes. I mean, everyone does it, but
Yeah,
you think a project is only going to take this amount of energy, and once you're into it, you realize, oops, so you may have to adjust what you do for the rest of the day.
that's true.
You know, and so you have to take account for it as you're doing it, and also to be willing to adjust, right? I mean, we of all people with RSI have to be so flexible in so many ways, and how you allocate your energy is definitely one of those.
Yes.
Yeah. And oh, hearing information about careers. So I guess meaning what career options are open?
Yeah, I think in that
That's a
area,
whole other.
it's a whole other live stream that I'm
Yes.
hoping to do. But I'll say briefly that the best outcomes that I've heard have been people who've done it themselves. They've imagined their own career, taking their own talents and likes, the things that they enjoy doing, and putting them together and forming an entrepreneurial career is very often the best, because I found that people who try to work for other employers almost invariably quit because they can't keep up. Because even if they tell the employer, hey, I've got RSI, I can only do this much, they don't understand why you're not keeping up with everybody else and
Yeah.
why you're not as productive. And it's entirely possible that you overdo it at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and if you go until 5 at that pace using your computer, you could be in real trouble.
Yeah.
So that, I think, is what we need to protect ourselves from.
Yeah, definitely. Moving Pictures had an interesting idea here, which I like, when people try to offer help or need understanding, and really they're not being helpful. And saying, well, my doctor said XYZ, or my therapist said XYZ, instead of saying, no, I like this idea. Say,
Mhm.
well, this is what I've been encouraged to do, but thank you very much. So that,
Yes,
I don't think it's a bad suggestion, moving
I think it's a good
pictures.
suggestion. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
My doctor has ordered me that I'm not supposed to lift more than 1 pound.
Yes.
My doctor said that I need to, not sit all day. These are really important things. And if you're working, you really need a doctor's note, you know, um, that's helpful.
And then
And
Eric,
Erica, yes, Erica says, I'm having a few friends getting injured. I wish they took this seriously. Yes. This is the thing that really is so frustrating, because you have a window to at least prevent things from getting really bad by dialing back, by learning all the things that I went over with Erica. And if you ignore these things, you do it at your peril, because you can get really seriously disabled, and then it's too late. And I can't tell you the number of people who have said to me, Deborah, I wish I had listened to you. I wish I had done what you said. I wish I had taken you seriously. Because now, I'm constantly getting these 26-year-olds who can lift up a coffee mug and then they have to put it right down because they can't hold up their coffee mug, can't hold up their phone. So it really is serious. This is why we need a national campaign. And
yeah, oh, exactly. I have turned a couple people around over time simply by inviting them over and us spending an afternoon together,
mhm,
because then they see just how limited I am. And not that you should exaggerate or anything, but don't be afraid to say, hey, I can't do this because, or ask them, can you do this for me? Can you open this for me? If you make people aware by observation and not confrontation, but exposure, that tends to do the trick. I recently had a situation, some new friends of mine up the road. The woman's a graphic artist. She's absolutely brilliant, and she's working herself into injury. And I went over and I scared the heck out of her and her husband. And because I knew it was the only way. And so now the two of them have been working together on all the advice and suggestions and tips I've given them. And it was such a relief for me to hear that even those little things have made a difference. But sometimes you really need to scare people. And that's what I do. I say, you don't want to end up like me. This is permanent. It's not
Yeah,
going. Yeah.
it is. And, no one wants a cure for RSI more than I do. No one wants, that's be the first video I'd make. I'd end my channel. I'd just say, here, go do this, do that. And
Yeah.
everybody'd be happy. But it's not getting the attention that it deserves, and people don't believe it. I think there's a certain amount of skepticism when people see they don't believe that you really can't do something, that it really does bother you to, like shake
Yeah.
hands. I mean, there's all kinds of ways where RSI manifests itself, and it really needs there needs to be. I mean, I'd love to produce a documentary. I'd love to produce a movie just showing it from the person's point of view, like how it happened. They ignored their own symptoms because they didn't heard of, they never heard of it. They had a deadline they had to meet, and and then the what happens, and then people coming to them, and what they have to live with after that. The kinds of ignorant remarks, because people can think you're malingering, or
And that's hard, and that's a whole other discussion as
yeah, a
well.
whole
But
other discussion.
yeah.
But while I have you, Alexandria and I talk a lot. There's Jonathan's. If you want to join the group, there's Jonathan's email address. Alexandria and I talk a lot about housekeeping, because
Yes.
we love housekeeping. But I was recently in someone's kitchen, and the amount of buttons that you have to push on glass is really painful. Like if you've got one of those modern stoves, or you have to, like the microwave, you press the buttons and they kill your hands. Elevator buttons can kill your hands, because all that force is going back up into your already frayed nerves and tendons and sore muscles and everything. So one of the things that we did was took a spoon. I don't have a spoon here, but you can press with an implement those buttons, and it doesn't hurt your hands as much. So that's one little thing that you can do if you have a stove that requires a lot of button pushing. The old buttons were nice because they had some give, didn't require as much force. There was
And you knew when they were being pressed, right? I mean,
yeah,
I have.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of the touchscreen panels on those stoves, and I have one. They are all a little bit different depending on when they were manufactured and how they were manufactured. Before I bought my stove, I actually went into the showroom floor and I played with one of those, the interface on the glass, to see how irritated I would be by that particular panel. And I played with it enough to be satisfied, yes, this is okay for me, right? But other ones are not. I have used some that are just terrible. You have to press way too hard.
Yeah.
Same thing at the bank. Now that everything's these touch screens. I hate touch screens.
They're horrible. They're horrible.
Yeah.
And especially like if you're using your phone and you're holding your arm out like that,
Oh,
it can really do a number on your upper extremity. They're really bad. But the point that you made, Alexandria, about trying before you buy.
Yes.
When I am at the store testing cooking implements,
Yes.
I pick them up.
Yes.
I see how the balance is. Like if there's a teapot or something, you want to
Yep.
see how easy it is going to be to pour. You want to check out the handle of a knife, the
Yep.
width of a knife. I cannot use fancy cooking, the pots, you know, the fancy
Yes.
ones with all the ceramic. They are way too
No,
heavy for
those
me.
are horrible.
They're horrible. But, you know, even if you slid them, I mean, like if you're cooking, it's a good idea to slide from one burner to another if you've got another pot going, rather than lifting. I mean, there's all these tricks that you can do using two hands rather than trying to grasp something with one. Those can be helpful, but it's really a good idea to try things out and see how they're going.
Beforehand.
Yeah, beforehand. And sometimes you won't know until you've used it for a while, but I think you get a pretty good idea.
After a while, for sure. And, you know, you can use it as a bit of an educational tool when you go into stores. I did that with whisks. I needed a couple different whisks, and I went into a cooking shop, and they had all these different whisks. And of course, a staff member came over and was wondering what the heck I was doing as I was trying to gauge the comfort level and my ability to use it. And I explained. I said, well, I said, I'm gimped. You know, my hands don't work. I said, I need to find something that works. And then he got involved, and then we started talking. And so suddenly I was able to educate someone, and this person was genuinely interested. And I walked away with 2 new whisks that I could work with. But, you know, never be afraid to engage people in a store. Never be afraid to say, hey, I have some limitations, because I hate to say it, this day and age, a lot of people have these issues far more than they did 20, 25 years ago. So anyway.
Yeah, nobody's doing a study on the general population. And, you know, if I'm speaking before a group and I ask a question like, who here has neck pain? Raise your hand. Okay, who here has shoulder pain? Raise your hand. Okay, who has elbow pain? Raise your hand. Who has forearm pain? Raise your hand. Who's got wrist pain? Raise your hand. Who has thumb pain? Raise your hand. Who's got a trigger finger? I mean, by the end of the time, I think everybody would be with their hands up.
Of course.
You should see me in the Apple store, Alexandria. I'm there. I'm saying, do you understand? And they're horrible. I mean, they've got those horrible cafeteria tables, and the people are all hunched over in horrible posture. They've got these heavy gadgets that they have to carry around.
Yes.
To check you out.
Yes.
And nobody holds the thing up to themselves in good posture.
No.
They're all looking down. And so sometimes I'll get someone really sympathetic, and I carry my business card, which has my channel.
Yes.
It has a link to my channel, and I say, could you please go to my channel and educate yourself?
Yeah.
And, you know, if you're watching right now and you think any of this information would be useful to someone you know, please share this video with them, because we need to spread the word. And it's just like Alexandria was saying, you know, we need to tell people suggestions from you, how to ask a man for help, a verb, a noun, and a time frame. Keep it simple. That's funny.
Yeah, I just thought that was cute.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I just want to
drawing the conclusions themselves, and seeing the evidence show rather than tell. Yeah, that's very Feldenkrais, and I teach Feldenkrais awareness through movement lessons, and that system is brilliant because nobody tells you anything, but by the end of the lesson, you know things you had never realized about your own body just from following these very simple instructions. And it's about learning. You know, true learning isn't, because I don't want to lecture people or make them you feel bad. I mean, I do scare people myself. I mean, I remember one time someone wanted me to cut a portion of my book because it was too scary.
Mm.
And
Wow.
I thought, no, because if someone had told me all those years ago what was going to happen to me, I would have wanted to know.
Yes.
And this is the thing that's wrong. No one is warning people about repetitive strain injury. There needs to be a massive public education campaign. And we can do so much with our friends, but I think if people saw it in PSA announcements on television, if people saw it at their town hall, I mean, I'm doing everything I can. I went to the governor and spoke to her aide. I am, systematically going through. This is what the government is there for. We are constituents. We vote. And I would love nothing better to be standing on the top of the Lincoln Memorial out at the Washington Mall, because I'm sure we could fill it with people with RSI
Absolutely.
if they would get organized.
And the other part, I hate to say this might be for another discussion, but just food for thought. There are a lot of people out there who are making money, unfortunately, from devices and things that really are more harmful than useful. And so,
Yeah.
you
I
know,
have an episode on my YouTube channel about Big Chair, how the ergonomic, pulling the curtain
yeah,
back on the ergonomic industry. Those chairs will kill you. The
yes,
backrests. Nobody should be using a backrest when they're using a computer. And those chairs that support your neck and your elbows and your lumbar, they are devastating your musculoskeletal system. It's
yeah,
really dangerous. So I interviewed an expert on this whole thing, and there's, it's a $1 billion. I think I'm right that it's a $1 billion industry.
oh yeah,
Say,
easy.
oh, this is ergonomic. It's a great selling tool, but that's one problem, is the ergonomics industry, and they also have people, who are basically selling you all this stuff that basically doesn't solve the problem and makes you worse.
Yes.
And
Well,
your employer's thinking, well, I spent $1,000 on your chair. How come you're not more productive?
yeah,
It's not going to help them. That's one thing. But the other thing that I think we're getting at was the idea of people squeezing rubber balls or getting these hand exercisers that are
yeah,
basically ripping up your forearms even more than they're already destroyed. That's not good either.
no,
Was
no.
that the point you were making, Alexandria?
Yeah, exactly. And just that it's hard to combat this industry because certain individuals have found a way to profit. So they are not going to be happy about people like us who actually want to spread the truth and scare
Yeah.
the heck out of people and say, look, pay attention. Yeah,
Yeah, and they're pushing computers on kids. Oh, look how great. I mean, I was at a dinner party and someone said, gaming is great because the kids learn how to work with each other, and and I
yeah,
said, you know what? That's one of the leading causes of repetitive strain injury. And these kids get so injured that their parents are going to be supporting them for the rest of their lives.
yes. Best toy ever, Lego. Let
Yeah.
kids play with
Or how
Lego.
about going outside and playing,
Yeah,
running around, using your whole body,
kids
playing
are good at
baseball or
that.
stickball or something? Kids, well, I'm dating myself, but when I was growing up, kids did not sit in front of computers,
No.
not talking to each other. And one of my friends wrote a book, and he said that his younger members of the people who come to his readings come up to him and say, I'm amazed that you had friends, which I think is just really sad. It's such an indictment of the
Oh
whole
my gosh.
idea that, the virtual is not the same as being there in person.
Yeah.
It's just not the same. Stylus with soft hitch. I have a pen that I got from voting, And I use it when I have to sign my name, and I use it on my phone. So styluses are good. Just don't grip, don't grip your pen with a death grip.
And find one that's comfortable for you. I am very sensitive to different styluses, and it took me a long time to find ones that I can hold for a while, right? So, and of course, that's the other thing. When you're injured, what works for one person doesn't always work for another. That's
Yeah. I mean, I can do certain things, but I can't do others. Injured people lose earning capacity, and it lowers the path. Yeah, this is another good thing that we could put in our manifesto, moving pictures.
yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
and we're contributing taxes, we're contributing ideas, we're contributing our visions, when we continue to work. I think it's really important. We need to do something.
Definitely. Definitely. And another good one here. Hygiene with RSI.
That's tricky.
I think that's so individual. Find what works is kind of my motto with a lot of things. Like, find what works for you. Like, I have an electric toothbrush, but again, not all electric toothbrushes are the same weight.
And the
Or do
vibration may bother somebody.
exactly. You use a water pick, don't you, Deborah?
I use those gum things, the little furry things that you put there, and I use
Right.
floss, and I use
Oh yeah. Right. Yeah, and
but
yeah,
like a back scratcher thing for when you're taking a shower could be helpful. Any reaching things, those are helpful.
yeah.
You won't believe what I use when I'm reaching up for I store paper products on the top shelf of my kitchen. So I discovered that the hook on my shoehorn can reach down the paper towels.
Yes,
So I just
yes.
have to be careful I don't bonk myself on the head when I do that. But yeah, that
Yeah,
works
I have
good.
those grabbers that you can get,
Yeah,
lightweight ones.
tongs.
Yeah, exactly. We've got them all over our house because I'm short, but also it just really helps, with that struggle. And that's also the thing. Mind the weight of
Yeah,
things. So if you're buying something online that's even advertised as a tool to help people with physical limitations, get the weight, get the dimensions. That is really important.
it really is. And a footstool helps too.
Yes,
You
lightweight
know,
footstool.
lightweight. You can kind of skid across the floor.
Yes. Yes. Oh, Erica here. So with the electric toothbrush, I mean, honestly, I shouldn't maybe say this, Deborah, correct me if I'm wrong. Try it, see what the results are. If it's not good, then, don't use it,
Yeah,
right? But
yeah. I don't use one. I use my own hand. And the other thing is when you're doing this is where technique can help, because instead of doing the wrist, you can do the whole arm.
arm, yep. Yes, I know.
And remember, my dentist told me, don't brush this way, brush
That's
up and
right.
down, because you have to angle the brush.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we talk about many interesting things here at
Oh,
Repetitive Straight and
oh,
True.
definitely. Definitely. I mean, everything. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're coming to the end of our time here. So if anybody has any final words, now's the time to put in your comments. You might want to show Jonathan's email once more
I
if anybody wants
will.
to join this group. Um, they meet once a week. There's Jonathan Dropkin, msm.edu, and Jonathan can help give you information. You'll be notified of when the groups meet. They meet on Zoom. They're kind enough to let me do this on StreamYard this time, because then I can share it with my whole channel and everybody who watches my channel. And also there's a replay. So if you missed part of this and you want to go back and you didn't get the beginning, or you want to see something over again, It will be on my channel under the live section. They have different tabs that you can pull down, and it will appear there.
And Jonathan's very sweet, and everyone in that group is awesome.
Jonathan, he's been very helpful to me, very supportive. We appreciate he and Laura.
Yes.
Laura Miner, I've known her for years, since I was writing my first book.
Oh, wow.
She has done a lot for the RSI community. She's been involved in this group from day one, and she's just a great booster of, people helping people and people being supportive of RSI. So thank you, Laura. Thank you, Jonathan, for this opportunity. And thank you, Alexandria. Okay.
You're welcome.
And there's the petition.
Oh, sorry.
So you can go to change.org, and I think you can even search End RSI. You'll find me. You'll find a picture of me. So you'll know there's 12 points. And this is a really great document that you can take and show to people. You can show it to people. It's sort of a work in progress because I'm thinking of things that probably need to be there now. But get active. This is the chance to exercise. You may not be able to use your hands, but you can use your vote. You can raise your voice. We need to form a community of activists, of people who are going to do something to help other people who don't have this yet, and also make it easier for the people who have RSI, who are having trouble getting workers' compensation, who can't find a decent doctor because doctors aren't learning the proper things in medical school. They can't get the tests that they need. There's many things that we could be working on to improve life for the RSI community if we join together. So I hope you'll consider, join my channel. Stay tuned. Give me, tell me what you're thinking about. Tell me your ideas for future live streams, for future videos, because I'm listening. I read the comments.
She does.
I do. And if we're lucky, maybe we'll have Alexandria again as our moderator.
Sure, I'll get my camera working properly. Oh.
Yeah, I want to bring Alexandria to the Million RSI March in Washington whenever that happens. We can all we'll wear T-shirts or sandwich boards because we can't carry signs.
That's right, exactly. Look down here. No, that's wrong. Sorry.
Well, that might get people's attention.
That's true. That's true. Read my back, with a T-shirt.
Yeah, do the front and the back of the T-shirt. We'll have to come up with that, Alexandria. We'll have to come up with some clever phraseology and some clever art. We'll do that.
All right.
Okay. Well, I think we can close now. I want to thank everybody for coming, and thank you both. You're welcome. And so we'll say goodbye. Goodbye, my lovelies. It was wonderful to see you, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers.